Hello everybody, I hope you guys are all doing well. We are back. Hello to everyone in the chat. Of course, we got Captain Trey with us. He's going to be joining us from Miami, I think, and he'll be linking up with us later on in the flight. We got a little CD boy as well. Do I think Pete did it? Well, we know he did it years and years ago, but what he did is his prerogative. We ain't gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the fact that there is a Air France A320 sat in the Caribbean. We're gonna address the elephant in the room. Yes, Air France does have a couple of A320s, I think, down in the Caribbean, and they do little island hopper routes between all of the French territories. Now, I don't know how to pronounce half of these territories, so we're just going to go off of the ICAO code, the ICAO code airports. We're flying from Tango Foxtrot Foxtrot Romeo to Tango Foxtrot Foxtrot Foxtrot. It doesn't matter, but you guys can look them up because I'm not going to publicly embarrass myself over the pronunciation of French airports. Links are down below in the description as well, obviously, if you guys do want to pick up these sceneries. Big thanks to Contrail for providing 2 of the sceneries today, and we're also looking at our middle ground our second scenery we'll take a look at is from a different developer, and we'll talk a little bit more about them when we get there. A doesn't fly to any of these airports, so I have to make up a flight number. There you go. Make up one as you choose. As you so do choose. Right, let's jump inside. We will have a look at this scenery because it is quite impressive. We'll get the aircraft powered on. I'm going to take my iPad out of this. As you can tell, I am very much prepared to do this. We're going to get the checklist up, and we'll go through powering up the Airbus, because it's slightly different to the way you power up a Boeing. Obviously, there's our overhead panel. We'll come on to everything in a little bit more detail as we go through, and once we get in flight. See if any of you guys are from, if you guys are doing ground school right now. If you do have any questions, either put them in the chat, put them on the phone. I've got the phone next to me, so I'll be able to see any and all questions you have, and I'll be more than happy to show anything. And if I'm going too fast, also tell me that, because I do tend to absolutely run away with it. Okay, flight deck preparation. I'm just following a checklist here, so what you'll hear me saying for the next little while is just going through this checklist, basically. Put it on my lap, and then I can read it and go through here. Radar predictive wind shear, which is down here. Those are both in the off position. The spoilers are retracted. The engine masters are off. Engine mode selector, that's this thing here, is normal. Answer your question and spell my name right first. Flaps are retracted. They're in the 0 position. Parking brake is on. You can see that there. Landing gear is in the down position. Wipers are off. Circuit breakers are back there. They should all be pushed in. None look like they're popped out, so we're happy with that. And we've got our oxygen mask over there. We'll run a test on that later. Alright, so in regards to turning this aircraft on, start with the batteries. 2 battery switches there. Here are a couple of clunks. Gross. Then the next thing is the external power. External power to the on position, and in the Airbus, unlike with the Boeing, you've only got nav and attitude. There's no align. The system pretty much does it, basically just does it automatically. Switch them into the navs. There's your IRS. Ground control, I'll be honest, don't know what it does. Let me me just get the link to miles. There we go. I think Pete did it. Yes, we know Pete did it 40 years ago.
Runway awareness. Okay. Meters.
That's our RAS in the system going through its self-checks on startup. We'll come downstairs and have a look at that in a minute. CVR test. Now, there we go. We might be able to see if it does a test. There you go. Heard a little noise, so I guess that's the test. The crew supply for the oxygen, we will turn that on there. I'm cautious of notifications and any and all notifications in case people are telling me to slow down. APU fire test. So here's your fires. There's Agent 1, Agent 2, basically bottle 1, bottle 2. There's the actual fire push button, and then you've got your tests here. So hold down the test, it'll throw the alarm, switch will go red, and on that center panel still there, on the ECAM, so it had a checklist come up, and master caution lit as well. So happy with that test. We'll make sure the fuel pumps are off. Air conditioning we'll leave in the neutral spot. I'm pretty happy with that. Anti-ice definitely not needed. Probe and window heats, which are that, so that's going to heat your pitot tubes, your static ports, etc., the windows themselves. Strobe light, I don't know why it says auto, we'll leave it off for now because we're on stand. Wing light is not needed. Nav and logo, that's your port and starboard lights, so those guys have just come on. APU master is off. Dome light is not needed. Enunciator light, we'll switch that to the test, and that's going to light up everything. This is our Christmas tree. So we're basically just looking to make sure that all the lights that should have a bulb are working and that none need replacing. Come down to the MCP, whatever the equivalent is in here, but the autopilot panel. No one ever calls it by its proper name. There's your FMA. All the lights look good, so I'm happy with that, so I'll switch that back to bright. It'll only show the switches that are on. The seatbelt sign we're going to leave off for now because we are yet to refuel. We will switch the no smoking sign on and arm the emergency exit lights, so that'll do the low level lighting in the aisle as and when it's needed. Engine fire tests will run engine 1, lights up, warning, master caution on both sides, alarm, and the checklist. So we're happy with that, and then we'll do the same for the other one. Light, master caution, checklist, happy days. And that is that for the upper bit. We've got our anti-skid on, and we can do our ECAM check. It's basic. We're in pounds. Nope, we don't want pounds. Let me just change that real quick. Units, kilograms. There we go. What's a kilometer? Anyway, I'm gonna put that in so I can start doing boarding. We'll get that going with GSX. Okay. So ECAM status. So here's your your 2 ECAM pages. We can take that to all. There's our fuel page. Obviously the vibrations are 0 because they're not working right now. The engines aren't running. But you can go through like all of these. See cabin pressurization, the electrics. We're on external power right now, so that's giving all the power that we need. Hydraulics are obviously off. Fuel flow is obviously off. The pumps are off. We can come back and have a look at these later on. The conditioning is off because we haven't got APU and bleed running yet. You see, we've got our cabin door open, wheels, and then there's our flight controls. So they're obviously all locked. There's a long route view. How long? If we look back, you can see there's your aileron locked on one side, and then on the other side, you also got the other aileron locked. And then we got our top page up here as well. STS, there you go, status. So we'll do a quick recall check. We can see there's no issues. If we had any, what? Huh? Wait, what? 5 hours? Huh? These two are definitely further away than I thought then. Oh, oh, actually it's a long way from Miami initially. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay. Maybe I won't see you today, but do appreciate you joining me anyway. Hanging out in the chat as well, doing what you do best. So yeah, so there's your N1, EGT, N2, and then fuel flow, obviously. Yeah, you need to get moving. We might be here for 5 hours. It's possible. We might be here for 5 hours. We'll continue with the checks. We'll put the PA on, and we'll put the cabin on as well. Cockpit door we can leave open for now. Boarding is underway. Now, here is the Airbus equivalent of the FMS. I have revision to this is revision. And I can revise in between. I'm also not flying 5 hours. He's flying 5 hours. I'm not flying 5 hours. He's going from Miami, and we're probably about 3 hours of the way along the course than he is. All right. So the first thing now. Oh, I've been disconnected on my pilot client. Lovely. So the thing is, there might be some sim adjustments, but the idea is kind of the same. You'll start on your MCDU menu. I believe ATSU will probably show up. AOC menu, and then flight init is basically going to pull. The Airbus, right, is a lot more manual. Is a lot more. Not manual. The Airbus does a lot more for you. That's true. We do have a PT tomorrow, all-nighter. Yeah, the Airbus pulls a lot more in. So like, I'll show you everything. But pushing init data request, immediately it knows my flight number, the departure, the destination, the alternate, and the ETE. Expected time en route. In it, we can also then request our data. Oh, which actually, I have to pull an all-nighter to pass tomorrow. It's only 50% pass mark. It's okay. It's only a 50% pass mark. We'll be okay. Let's see here. I'll leave out. Oh, company route actually is required. But I'll show you how it works basically. So if I click init request, this is all the initialization requests basically. So from to is where we're going from and to. Company route, you could get, obviously that code just like on the Boeing. You get a code and it'll pull everything, the normal route that you use. There's our alternate. So if we need to divert somewhere, we'll turn around and go back. VC improved. I've seen you sleep tonight. Nightmares. AFR 604, that's our flight number. Our cost index, which again is that efficiency number, is 10 for Air France. And our cruise flight level, actually don't remember. I need to look at the flight plan for that. It's 14,000 feet. So we'll put in flight level 140. And the temperature up there is apparently 1 degree. There's the tropopause height. So, fairly high up. And then you can also request the winds on the Airbus. And it will... You can, obviously, as you are climbing, you can put... you'll be able to put these in manually. The Airbus can literally pull it from your flight plan. It's brilliant if you're visiting auto land and bank. Oh. We've got Susan in the back here giving us our briefing as the bags arrive. Thank you, Susan. Data in it. Right. So as you can see, we've got our data points in here. What I believe I can do, CTIM. You could type these in, and then you would just input all of these. Yeah, you could go through just like that. Cold Palmer. Cold Palmer is somewhere needing the shirt needs a wash after today. And all the football and the fact that I was in goal and getting soaked because the grass was wet. Anyway, you're distracting me from explaining what I'm doing. So, to get, I should have done this in a max of 13 on the 73800. To get to departure and arrival, to input SIDS and stars is a little bit different on the Airbus than it is the Boeing. So with the Boeing, right, we had depart, which was on this button here pretty much. Instead, you basically click on the departure point on the flight plan, so TFFR, and then it gives you the option to choose a departure, which runway we're taking off from. So in this case, today we're taking off from runway 12, and we're on the KD2 Foxtrot departure. So if you click down on the up arrow, you go down the list of departures. There's KD2 Foxtrot, and then you click insert, and hey presto, we've now got a load more waypoints. You can then do the same thing for your arrival. And if I look at my charts, I actually don't think I've got an, I can do an arrival. Well, that's weird. Can I do an arrival then? Can I do the KD8 Foxtrot? What's that gonna do? Oh no, that's gonna put me out there. Okay, we might not do a, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna do the KT2 X-ray arrival. And then we're gonna plan, we'll shoot the ILS to runway 10 today. From Carrick's. I'll just add that all in and then I'll show you guys up here. So we're doing the ILS Zulu runway 10, and then again it takes you through the steps. So you click through until your arrival. We're doing KD2 X-ray, and then our approach via waypoint is Carrick's. That's all in the flight plan. And then you click insert again, and all of a sudden, if we scroll down, we're all the way to runway 10 at TFFF. Lovely stuff. What chats am I missing? Wind. We can ignore all of those. Okay. Let me look back at my checklist. So secondary flight plan is basically if you need to divert, you can have your secondary flight plan on standby, and you can then execute it, and you can go from there. So you just copy the active and leave it in a standby state in here. Obviously, nothing has been activated. It's not in green. Nothing's been activated. It's just hanging out there. We'll check our radio navigation. So that should be the ILS frequency, which is not. Is it? It might be. I'll assume it's the ILS for if we need to come back on departure. That basically gets added in right now. and it'll update as we get closer and closer, and we'll cross-check it before we land. Perf is done. Right. Flight preparation continuing. We'll assume we've done a walk around, but you know, we can walk around the aircraft and make sure the leading edge isn't damaged or anything like that. Barometric reference. Now I actually need to get the weather. So let me have a look at the weather here real quick. Our QNH is 1017. So we'll set that in there. And then on our standby as well. There's your standby instruments here. We'll set those to. That would be maybe your ACARS window. Trey, I might need you to help me on this one because I forget. Is this ACARS or CPDLC? Could be both. Sorry, guys. Honestly, I think in terms of explaining systems, I'm better doing it on the Boeing than the Airbus. Both. There we go. Both. Trey will help me out, guys. He'll correct me if I make any mistakes, Trey, because I'll be bound to make some mistakes. I don't use it in the Airbus, though. Yeah, me neither. We'll squawk 1200, which is the IFR squawk code, if you don't have one. And we'll switch the transponder on. So this is our transponder window. Actually, I'll show it to you, because that's the whole point of what we're doing. So standby, basically you won't be transmitting. It'll be off radar. That's how they hide. They just turn that off. It's on. We can be seen. Altitude reporting is sending our altitude data to air traffic control. Above is for TCAS. So basically any aircraft that are above us it'll search for, or any aircraft below it'll search for, and then you switch it to traffic to TARA once we get in the air. For now it's on standby because we're on the ground and we don't want alerts of collision. I'm going to switch that to all because I like to know when aircraft are in and around us, just to be on the safe side. Alright, IRSs are on nav and there's no lights there. Oh, we got passengers walking down. That's another thing I need to do. Because while this is a tutorial, we are still looking at sceneries provided to us by Contrail, so we will go and have a look inside at this scenery because it is a pretty cool scenery. But we'll get through most of pre-flight first. There's your flight directors. Interestingly, I don't know where the flight director command bars are. We'll look out for them because they will show up. I think it's just because we're in reduced amount of power right now. We're still on battery, to be fair. So flight directors are on. FCU altitude is not set. That's what it's called, FCU. For departure, do I not have departure charts? Oh, here we go. I don't have departures. Transition altitude is 9,000. Initial climb clearance is 7,000 according to the charts. So I'll go ahead and set 7,000 in there on the FCU. Speed we will come back to once we do our performance calculations. Heading is pushed in, so it'll follow it once I engage autopilot. Nav display is good. EFIS control panel. Yeah, there's your EFIS control panel. Arc. I think 10 is too tight, so I always like it on 20. Fuel quantity is 4.5, which is what we had planned. 4.5. Or no, 4,560 kilograms. There we go. Boarding is complete. Okay. Before we do the fuel pumps and before we do the load sheet then. The load sheet on this is your EFB, by the way. So, literally just like one of these things. And in this case, this is the software that I've got to take off performance software here. That's what it looks like for me, and we'll go through all of this in a second. Right after we go and have a run through of this scenery. So this is the SLH Sim Designs TFFR. And as you can see, it's the same guy who made the Bermuda scenery, which I do love quite a bit. This one is a lot nicer than the Bermuda one, I'd say. It's a bit more new than the Bermuda one as well, so I can understand why. But you come through and you've got literally a full kind of not super detailed, but relatively high amount of detailed check-in area, running all the way along with I guess that would be a shop in the rail terminal, and then do you go downstairs? No, it doesn't let you go downstairs. Who is at my door? Hang on, I'll be right back.
Hey guys, Carmen's online. I've just got back from GNAV and I hated it, every second of it. But you know what I didn't hate? Daniel Richmond. Don't kick me off, don't kick me off. I wasn't ready, I'm not ready.
Right, the flight deck door has been locked. So yeah, I guess we don't go downstairs. So if we come through here, okay, this is a little weird. So it's missing kind of like the bit through security, etc., etc. And then you come out here with, obviously we're down there. And this interior, this landside is not too bad. For as far as SLH goes, definitely improved since Bermuda, and I know he's working on a V2 for Bermuda, so hopefully that'll come out in the near future, and we'll be able to take a look at that. But running along, nice simple interior, but not performance heavy is a big thing. It does not have a huge impact on performance. We can't go down there, unfortunately. But yeah, not heavy at all on performance. And then of course we got multiple jetways and nice glass one as well. We'll go walk down to our gate in a minute and get on board. But it's a super nice scenery. I took a look at it. I was trying to figure out where to fly tonight, and I came across these guys, and I was like, ooh, we could definitely do something with this. It is actually a really cool interior as well. Just generally speaking, not looking at specifically the sim, but if this is what it looks like in real life, this is cool. So we're on 9 Bravo, so we'll walk down here, and we'll walk over to our aircraft. So you can walk down here as well, to be fair, and you'd go along. Actually, we'll have a look at this because we haven't looked at this yet. There's another little mini terminal area with a bunch of walk-in gates that are over there, and then baggage as well. Oh, that's kind of cool. Baggage is done out, and then a little bit of refueling stuff. You're pushing back, sounds good. So yeah, overall, really nice scenery. We'll walk down the jet bridge and we'll get on board. Obviously, we got the wing walkers are waiting for us, so we don't want to waste too much time. We got on board. Oh, there's Susan and all the zombie passengers. Oh my goodness, definitely zombie passengers. There we go. They're loading back in. We got Susan and somebody else. I don't know who. Give me a name in chat and we'll. That'll be Susan. We need a name for this member of crew. Right. Let's reset this. And let's get on to takeoff performance calculations, which is pretty much all we have to do. Mary? Alright, Mary it is. We got Mary and Susan in the back today. So, I've sent it to the McDo, our performance numbers, and there's actually a way you can see it. If we go back to the ATSU, which was where we were earlier on getting our flight plan, we've got ATC, ADC delays for any delay messages, arrival message, weather, ATIS, diversion, free text, and then received messages. And that's your preliminary load sheet. We'll just accept that. But takeoff weight, takeoff fuel, 0 fuel weight, and there's our maximum. And then date, etc., etc. And then we'll look at the final load sheet. Can host this is be called no. 0 fuel weight, 59.1 tons. Takeoff weight, 63.5. So the only thing changing there is the amount of fuel we have, and we put on 4.5, so that checks out near enough. And then passengers on board, we got 158 with 3 members of crew. We can actually scroll through as well. So there's our mean aerodynamic core 0 fuel weight, 31%, and then the mean aerodynamic core takeoff weight is 29.8% of Mach. LI 0 fuel weight. Trey, I need your help on this one. We haven't done this yet. LI or anyone if we have done it, whatever LI 0 fuel weight is and LI takeoff weight is, if anyone knows what that is, then I would appreciate knowing. There's our cargo distribution. It's compartment 1, compartment 2, compartment 3, compartment 4, compartment 5. It's split up into sections. Obviously, there's only 2 main holds, and then it's split up into sections within them. No idea? Cool. Yeah, me neither. And then, there you go. That's the end of the load sheet. Okay, so we've accepted them. And what we can do is we can come over to takeoff performance. The runway surface is dry. We're going to use the optimum flap configuration. Must not be that important. We're not going to force a toggle. We're going to do a flex takeoff. So we're going to we're going to lie to the aircraft what the temperature is outside. Our anti-ice is going to be off. Our packs will be on because I think we've got plenty of runway. Well, yeah, we got 10,000 feet of runway. We are fine. 777s, I think, come in and out of here, or A330s, so more than enough runway. Now, if we go back to this load sheet, and we scroll down, our mean aerodynamic core takeoff weight is 29.8, so you'd put 29.8 in there, and then our takeoff weight is, where was that? Was that on here? There you go, our takeoff weight, 63.5. You put those in, or we do that, and there you go, 63.5 comes up, 29.8 comes up. There's our weather conditions. I'll just make sure that that's correct, but using this ATIS, we've got QNH of 1016, so I'll drop these down by 1. Just for accuracy, because that's a whole 30 feet, as we know. 27 feet, if you want to be even more precise. Temperature outside is 29 degrees, and the winds are 110 at 8 knots. So, bit of a crosswind. Actually, perfect crosswind. We're taking off 1, 2. Yeah, it's a perfect crosswind there. Near enough. Oh no, wait, what? No, I'm an idiot. Sorry, 200 would be perfect crosswind. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Winds are straight down the runway. At 8 knots, so we've got perfect headwind. Ignore what I said, I can't do numbers. So, hitting the magical calculate button, there's your V1 speed, there's your VR speed, there's your V2 speed. I can't use the cap 696 or whatever it is because those figures are out of date and don't work for the A320 in the sim, so sorry guys. But there's your speeds, there's the transition altitude. Takeoff shift, actually don't know what that means. James will have to explain that to us when we do, if we do it on an EFB. There's your flap setting, so obviously the Airbus has flaps 1 through full, 1, 2, 3 and full. And then trimmable horizontal stabilizer is going to be down 0.3, so we'll adjust that in a second once we start engines. There's your flex takeoff temp of 65 degrees, and then engine out. Actually, again, I don't know what. Trey, can you explain what the thrust reduction ACC and engine out ACC is? If you know. Otherwise, it might not be important, and we'll figure it out later on. But if you go to the perf page on the MCDU, that screen pops up, and look, it's the exact same as this one. And we would just put in our V speeds, 144, 144, 146, etc., into there. Because it's the EFB and it's built in, I click the magic button. There you go. Everything comes in here. 65, and then our trimmable horizontal stabilizer setting as well. And that is pre-flight. I'm gonna start the APU up actually, because I still haven't done that. Just basically the altitude at which you're gonna expect to go to climb power. Okay. Okay, there you go. Interesting. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Thrust reduction at 1,500 feet. Yeah. Makes sense. Now, when the APU turns on, we probably want to be in the APU window. It says flap open here. That means that the APU exhaust port is open. And then you can start up the APU so that the exhaust goes out the back. And doesn't build up in the tail. So let that start. We can see exhaust gas temperatures rising. The N1 on the turbine is rising because obviously it's basically a little jet engine at the back. It spins around. So it's going to spool up to 100%. And then we should see that our APU gen will start to provide us with all the electrics. At that point we can disconnect the ground power and we'll get on our way. This will turn to available and then we'll put the APU bleed on. We'll just monitor this, make sure everything's good. EGT's coming down. And avail. And there you go. 400 hertz, 115 volts. Exhaust gas temperature is well below, and we're at the limit on N1, which is where we should be. That's gone to available, and then we can power the APU bleed. At the same time, we're going to switch all these fuel pumps on. If we have a look at the fuel panel now, see all these have gone green. We actually don't have anything in the center tanks, so we can leave the center tanks off. And they should go back to being red. Interesting. But yeah, they would eventually go back to red. And if we have a look at the electrics now, APU is providing it. We've also got external power. Because the APU is on, we'll disconnect the external power and see that that adjusts to the APU generator. Right, now something that you can't do in real life is we're going to dismiss the GPU over here, and we're going to dismiss the chocks and cones. That is it for pre-flight. So now we're going to switch the beacon light on, and it should go through departure clearance. Yep, we'll get the tug coming up. Windows are closed, doors are closed, and slides are armed. I don't know whether the aft ones on the Fenix will arm. Obviously, they would show up armed in the real thing, and that's where you would see it on your doors page. The thrust levers are idle. The parking brake is on. The APU master is on. The APU starter is on, and the APU bleed is on. External power is off, and ground services. We'll just check the jetway's gone. It has indeed. Okay. Everything looks good overhead. Is it not giving me... Oh, then continue pushback. Okay. How do I turn the thrust on? We're going to do engine start right now. So we want nose to the left, tail to the right. Oh, I have to make a traffic call. What airport is this? We're not making a traffic call. Traffic reference 604, push and start, stand 10, facing west. Right. Parking brake's released before this, before the ground marshaller kills me. Alright, so, pushback sequence. We're going to come down here, and we're going to switch that to ignition, IGN/start, and we'll get the arm doors and cross-check. We'll turn up engine displays if we want them. And then, not simultaneously, one after the other, we're going to switch the engine to master, which is down here. We'll switch that to the on position, and then we'll see N2 spins up first. So we got about 10% N2 now. Once that gets to between 20 and 25% N2, you'll start to see a rise in N1 and a rise in EGT. There's fuel flow. EGT is rising. N1 is rising. And you monitor these all the way through. Monitoring oil pressure. We can see that slowly rising as well out of the red. And we'll just keep watching this go up. This should reach about 20%, and it will stabilize. There's your flex information. So we're going to be at 86.9% N1 when we go. The available lights lit up, so we know we can start the second one. So move that into the start position. N2 rises. Once that gets to about 20%, we'll see, or 20, yeah, there you go, 20% fuel flow. Exhaust gas temperature rising, N1 rising. EGT stable on this side. Pressure's in the green. And then all of that's in the green, so we're happy. So let's keep watching this one. So parking brake. Parking brake has been set. And a disconnect. There we go. Available is lit up. So then we'll run the after start checks. We're going to move this back to the normal position. There. APU bleed goes off first. And then the APU master goes out as well. For takeoff, the first check is to arm the speed brakes. We'll set flaps to 1. See that goes down. And on the ECAM, flaps show flaps 1 coming out. And then or that's the slat side, sorry, so that's on the front of the wing. And then that's this leading edge, that's trailing edge. Auto brake, we're going to set to max for takeoff. That is procedure in the Airbus. And then pitch trim. So if you remember back to our takeoff performance, we were given a trim of down 0.3. That way is up, that way is down. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. That white line, that white triangle, sorry, is showing where it is, and we're just under 30% CFG, which we saw on our load sheet was 29.8. So we're just below that, so that all looks good. Airborne, sounds good. We'll check the ECAM status page, and we'll do a recall. Everything there is normal. We might even get the checklist coming up. No, we don't. When do you get the checklist coming up? That's interesting. We'll switch our taxi lights on now as well. And the seatbelt sign on. Nose wheel steering is free, and then we'll do a flight control check. It's down here, F/CTL stands for flight control, and then you see on the bottom ECAM window. Now our flight controls, which were all orange before we started engines, and they are now alive. So if I pull back on the stick, which you can't see, elevate, the triangles go up, and then I'll reset it and go back to neutral. Push forward on the stick, elevator's deflected all the way down. There we go. We'll talk about this in a second. Roll to the left. Speed brakes go up, obviously assisting with roll control. The aileron goes all the way up, back to neutral, and then same on the other side. Right aileron goes up, left goes down. Speed brakes go up, back to neutral, and then the rudder. You see the pedal moving there, and that swings back to the middle, and then to the left. That swings back to the middle. Flight controls after that will be told free and correct. And then we'll run through this. So this is a normal checklist. So remember when we did the test on the overhead for the fire, it came up, there was a checklist that came up here, but this is just stands for takeoff checklist. Auto brake should be maxed, which it is. The signs should be on, which they are. The cabin should be checked. We will do a forward call. That will go out automatically as you get closer to the runway anyway. Spoilers are armed, flaps are in the takeoff position, 1 plus full, and then a takeoff config is run by pushing that button, and then normal comes up. You want all this to be green, there you go. Cabin's ready, so you want all of that. We can actually listen to Susan tell us that the cabin is secure for takeoff. Thank you very much, Susan. We'll reset that so we can hear her tell us that the cabin is ready for arrival in a little bit. Alright. Taxi lights are on. And I'm just going to figure out where we're taxiing. So we're going to taxi Romeo. No. We're going to taxi Romeo, Foxtrot, and then we're going to back taxi runway 12. That's what we're going to do. Okay, Guadalupe. We're going to go with Guadalupe. Guadalupe traffic air France 604 taxiing to runway 12 via Romeo Foxtrot back taxi 12. Or actually, we'll hold short Foxtrot traffic. We'll hold short Foxtrot and then we'll announce our back taxi in a little bit. Right then, everything is set. There's your flight director command bars. They're small on this for whatever reason. I don't know why. Boeing maybe does do better flight director command bars after all. Who knew? Alright. We'll show you advancing the thrust levers. Move them up just a little bit. Give a little bit of power. We'll see it. The N1 was rising there for a second just to get us moving. And we'll make our way out. Predictive wind shear. Switch that to system 1. That. And then auto. Run everything on auto. Airbus philosophy. Everything auto is great. I think they appear when you set the auto throttle. Okay. throttle. One later. Wow, look at the mountains back there. This is also very much sightseeing. Let's come right here. We'll hold short at this line, and then we'll announce back taxi. Actually, we'll announce it now. Guadalupe. Nope, that's brakes. Guadalupe traffic, Air France 604, back taxiing runway 12, Guadalupe. Alright, so entering the runway, we will switch the strobe lights on. Takeoff lights on.
Approaching 30.
Approaching 30. 3012, it's confirmed, and we're gonna go this way. Start doing that back taxi.
On runway 30. 1,800 meters remaining.
It's probably gonna yell at us the whole way down because it thinks we're taking off runway 30, which we're not. At this point, I'm gonna put on TARA. So we'll show up on radar for everyone. We can back taxi a little bit faster than this. And let's run the rest of the checklists. We'll get constraints up. Turn the terrain information on so you can see over there, right, we've got some terrain that's 2,000 feet higher than we are right now, so we'll definitely want to avoid that. It shouldn't be a problem though. We should clear that with ease. As you take off memo here, so no blue is a good thing. We're good for takeoff. Alright. TCAS TARA. Approach, landing lights, nose lights, strobe lights, packs, cabin crew.
Caution! Short runway! Short runway!
Yeah, no worries. We're back taxiing. We can use this here. We don't need the whole displaced. We'll come around here, save us a little bit of yelling from VRAS as well. All right. Guadalupe traffic, Air France 604 taking off runway 12.
Approaching 12.
There we go. Now it tells us 12. Keep thrust in. Don't want to come to a grinding halt. We'll come to a halt in a second, and we'll just run the final checks. As we stare down.
On runway 12.
Runway 12 is confirmed. We'll hold the brakes. We'll go ahead and start chronos, and the other stopwatch as well. Alrighty. So we're gonna watch this, obviously. So we've got climb and nav that are armed right now. Everything in the Airbus on the FMA is armed is blue. That tells us our capabilities. So we've got flight directors 1 and 2 on right now. The auto throttle should come up here. We'll say auto thrust. We'll say auto thrust in blue there, and we'll get our man flex and flex temp over here is what I'm expecting to see. But we'll see if we actually see that. All right. So we like to stable around 50% N1, so you'll hear the engines throttle up a little bit. I'll call stable, and then we'll go. Let's do it. So the blue lines are where the engines should end up resting when they spool up. So they're stable. Into the flex. Man flex, SRS, auto thrust is blue. And the airspeed is alive. The engines are at that flex temp. Everything's looking good. 80 knots. There's 100 knots. You can see V speeds coming up now, that magenta triangle on the speed tape. V1, rotate. There's positive rate of climb. And gear up. Lights indicating gear in transit. Those lights should go out. There we go. Lights are out, gears away. Now we're going gonna fly out on runway heading for a little bit here. Look at that. I wish someone was flying right now, because this is quite a cool departure. So we're above the flap speed, so we can definitely convert a little bit more into climb. Once we pass 1,500 like we saw in our performance, we should expect to get lever climb. At which point, there you go, lever climb. We'll pull the thrust levers back into the climb detent. There's that thrust reduction. We're speed checked above 200, so I'll put the flaps up to the clean position. Well, loop traffic reference 604 correction, passing at 2000, clear runway 12, final call, good day. We can definitely put a little bit more into the climb. There's your flight director command bars in green. We've got a lot of excess airspeed right now. The rad out's just gone away. That was down there if anyone noticed it. Once we got above 2,500, that would obviously switch out. And a little bit of chop here as we climb out. Looking at it, we're gonna come around to the left. I'm gonna disarm the speed brake, so watch the E-cam. Sorry, that ground spoiler is armed, is now out, and the spoilers are no longer armed. Continuing around, I'm gonna set climb up to 14,000 now, which will be our final for this relatively short flight. You can switch the terrain display off now. Auto brake can come off as well. See, auto throttle's gone green. We've got throttle climb, nav, and then altitude is in armed for when we reach that cruise. See the flight director command bars coming back. And because we're a little bit off course, as we align, it should start to swing out just a little bit. There you go. Alright, stick on AP1. AP1 comes up there. And it's going to fly to the green route. QNH is flashing. That's the sign to switch to standard pressure. So I'll do that once, I'll do it twice, and I'll do it 3 times. Going through 10,000 feet now. We can switch all the landing lights out. And if I get back in time, you'll see the purple magenta has gone up to above 250 knots. The rule is basically 250 knots below 10,000 feet. And once you get above that, you can start to increase a little bit. On the nav display, there's our ground speed, 300 knots and increasing. There's my TAS. So we've got a little bit of extra TAS. We've got bits of a headwind component there, just giving us a little bit of extra TAS and a slower ground speed. And then the wind and the arrow showing where it's coming from. So you can see I'm kind of having to point my nose a little bit off this green line. So the green line's going over there, and then that's our actual heading, is the yellow line at the top. There's my heading, and then I'm tracking the green line. 33 knots of near enough complete crosswind, about half a crosswind, half a headwind. There's airspeed reaching a stable 290. You can hear me through the wall. Lovely. I've definitely racked up a noise complaint or two from flying. Definitely racked up a noise complaint or two. Let's see what else needs to be done. Climb. There's your, oops, there's your ND mode select. Now you're all good, I've only sent like 4 complaints. Ooh, actually, it needs the destination data first. So if we go into performance, oh, we're already in performance actually. Here's my approach page. So I'm gonna look at my weather. I'll gather the weather for what to expect. So we got a QNH of 1015. Type that in. Outside air temperature in Martinique is 30 degrees. It's quite warm in the Caribbean today. The wind is 090 degrees, 15 knots. And then looking at the chart, minimums or the decision altitude, decision height is 250 radio. If I look back here, radio altimeter 250. Just come up. There's my approach speed. It calculates that automatically for me. So my approach speed we're going to fly is 137 knots. The landing speed should be about 132. Pull this out. There we go. 80 nautical miles from Martinique. I've been disconnected from VATSIM again and reconnected. We can come over here to our arrival. So landing on runway 10. Runway is dry. I can put in everything. I'm just going to apply it. Our landing weight, if we go back to the load sheet again, we'll have a look at our expected landing weight. Oh, does it give us our landing weight? It might not give us our landing weight. No, it's not going to give us our landing weight. I'll look at my flight plan then. Flight plan gives us an estimated landing weight of 62.2. Right now we're at 62.9. So yeah, that makes sense. About 62.9 is what we'll go for. Sorry, 62.2. Put that in there. As you can see, I'm going to use up, with the approach speed of 137, I'm going to use 7,060 feet. With a manual land versus actually say, yeah, it'll be just under 7,000. Low auto brake. I don't think we don't necessarily need to be in any rush. If we can get off on Alpha, then that's great. If we need to back taxi, we can back taxi as well. That's not a problem. There's a stopway on the end of this runway. There's a stopway at the end. I don't know whether you'll be able to make it out or not. Whether the camera will make it out. Nope. Might be able to. There's a bit of a stopway there of 984 feet. There's your LDA, LDR, and then even with a safety factor on top, we are good. There's your safety factor. So at some airports, I flew into what's the airport called? Key West. Key West has got a really, really short runway. And I had this number over the safety factor. It was like, well, I know the aircraft can technically go. By the way, we've now got a speed in Alp Cruise in our FMA, which I should have announced, but I was busy. Whoever was monitoring would have looked at that. Going, oh yeah, by the way. If I switch on the LS, that's going to give me my LS frequencies. And now I can see, so 109.9 is the frequency. If we go into the RadNav page, which has all our radios, there's our course, 095, there's our frequency. Frequency's in, all gets done automatically. There's a bit of turbulence up here. We're going to leave the seatbelt sign on. So we are shaking all over the place. We'll put the ILS on the other side as well. Yeah, look at this. Ooh, hello. Where the co-pilot from earlier go? She's been reading out the indications. I know. What can I say? Carmen did a terrible job being a co-pilot, and that's why we locked her out of the flight deck. Right, so this white arrow is announces when our top of descent is. So if I reset this down to the capture altitude, which is 2,000 feet, it'll follow in these constraints. And actually, there is no constraints. You can see straight away 2,000 feet, and it will descend essentially via VNAV without having a VNAV button. All the way down to 2,000 feet. I'll need to push it in. I'll just need to click it once over this point so it will start descending. But other than that, it's done completely manually. Continue. So there's Martinique by the looks of it. Let's start our descent here in about 20 minutes. And then I don't actually know how long the flight is from. It hasn't come up with a flight plan for. Okay, it's a 2-hour flight. So while we're doing that 2-hour flight, I will probably be doing some revision until we land in Cayenne. Where is Cayenne? What country is that? French Guiana. It's a 2-hour flight down for me. We'll turn it around. Captain Trey is on his way. Fair, if I'm on the ground for like an hour, I'll probably still get there before. What has he got on his? 3 hours and 41. I've got 9 minutes left on the flight to Martinique. I'm an alleged 3 hour, yeah. So I would have to like sit for an hour and 40 minutes. Maybe a little bit less than that, maybe an hour and a half on the ground. Which gives me time, but to be fair, it gives me time to look at the scenery and everything. So I think we've timed this well, to be fair. I can have a drink as well. I'm like dying of thirst over here. Like, the amount of talking one does in these streams is quite impressive, I must say. But hopefully you guys have found it useful a little bit, just to at least just have a look. Might take you that long to turn around. Yeah, literally. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, hopefully you guys who are here from the old ground school are finding it helpful. Whether or not I do a great job of explaining it or not, just to see, switches being pushed and what effect it has. Hopefully it's been somewhat helpful, and obviously we're going to do it again when we flight plan to go down to Cayenne. So yeah, we'll have another chance to do the filing. You guys can see it once again, one more time. Decelerate. There we go. Idle, throttle idle, and descent have come up, and we can see the aircraft start a descent now. More drag's been lit up. That's just because the speed's increasing a little bit. So I put out the speed brakes. See it comes up illuminated here on the ECAM, and then this green dot is basically the path that we want to follow on our descent. That's the equivalent of VNAV path, and VNAV in the Airbus is just descent. So we want that green dot to stay here, and we've got speed limits within these two magenta barriers. Is there CTAF? Have they done Caribbean CTAFs yet? No. Oh, dot CTAF. TFFF. Oh yeah, it has 1185. I haven't flown in the Caribbean in ages. Last time we flew in the Caribbean was we went to St. Martin. That's the last time we flew in the Caribbean. I just switched it. Yeah, I did just switch it. Martinique traffic reference 604, descending through 11,000, planning the ILS Zulu runway 10 approach Martinique. The island of Martinique. It is a wonderful part of the world. Just got mountains, as you do. High level terrain. But the terrain on the nav display, there you go, you can see the whole island there. So for now, everything is 2,000 feet below, which is brilliant. We love to see that. And then the blue is ocean. And looking out the window right now, it is a perfectly clear day, so there's no need for any weather radar. This aircraft also struggles to display weather radar at the best of times. In fact, it cannot display weather radar. It is that stupid. That's MSFS's fault, though. You can see barriers have moved. So I'm going to bring out the speed brakes again. Have a look on the wing. There's what your flight speed brakes look like. Obviously, they don't deflect all the way up, because that would give too much of a reduction. Would honestly probably overstress the speed brakes. Looking down the front, you see just a little bit of deflection, creating a little bit of turbulent flow. And speed's there, so I can reset. Well, yeah, true. It is, yeah, true. We're gonna reset the QNHs now to standard pressure, to local QNH, sorry, 1015, and that's using the weather. You see altitude's gone up a little bit as we did that. Obviously, it's about 90 feet difference. 90 feet. We're 90 feet higher now. Why are we at 8,000? Why are we so high? This is interesting, but Susan's called us. Let's see what Susan has to say. Thank you. We'll put the landing lights on. And then we'll go back over here. We'll reset the voice. So we need to be above 2,000. What's our finals? Finals about 10 miles, and we're at 8,000 feet right now. This is interesting. Let's put out drag. I'm gonna pull my speed down manually now. So we'll slow to 210 just to give the aircraft a chance to catch up. As you can see, that green dot is shot off beneath us. Looking at our arrival checklists. LS has been pressed, seatbelt sign is on, and there are no company messages. Brilliant. We'll go speed check flaps 1. And I'm going to do manual vertical speed at 2,000 feet per minute. Vertical speed 2,000 minus 2,000 has popped up. I should have done this a while ago. Just to help bring us down. Get down to 10,000, or to 10 nautical miles now. There's the LS triangles and localizer triangles. I'm gonna arm lock mode, so now FMA lock is in blue. Once we make that turn, it will show up. Center fuel tank, unusable, yep. Check the recall is good. Engine vibrations are 0, which is brilliant. There's Lockstar, and the ILS is coming in as well now. So we'll arm the approach mode, and we'll look to capture that triangle glide slope star. So we are fully established on the ILS, turning final. Martinique traffic, Air France 604, turning final, runway 10. There's your missed approach, so we need to do a go around for any reason. We will fly out and around, and then that's going to bring us back in for a second attempt, if needs be. There's that purple triangle coming in now as well. For Cat 3 single, weather's too good to need to do a dual approach. There's the runway. Runway is in sight. We'll continue coming in at speed 210. To drop that yet. Our go around altitude is 3,000, so we'll get 3,000 set in here as our go around window. Speed brakes are out, and if it's out for too long, master caution lit up for a second and said, hey, we need your attention over here. Displayed it here in the appropriate checklist. I should have left it out in fairness. We could have looked at it, but silly me didn't do that. Alright, I'm going to put the speed brakes into the armed position. We said auto brakes are low, so setting that. Got that pushed in. We're coming up on our altitude, which we said we were going to hold up. We're going to pass through that given we're established. And all the before landing checklists are complete as well. We're on a 10-mile final here. Once we get below 2,500, we'll expect to see our radio altimeter pop up down here. A little bit of breeze. I will decrease the speed down to 180. A lot of turbulence. I set it to go final. We'll slowly pull it down. We can bring out some speed brakes if we need to. Or we're 7.5 mile final. Let's drop the gear. Coming through 2,500 now, so we'll expect to see radio altimeter.
2,500.
2,500 is called, and then it lights up there. Martinique traffic, Air France 604, 7.5 mile final, runway 10. Speed check flaps 2. Slats are coming out to their second position. Flaps are coming out here. Wheel pressures look good. Auto brake is low. Anti-skid is on. Everything upstairs. Our landing lights are on. The seatbelt sign is on. All looking good as well. Speed check again. Flaps 3. No floaties. Don't bottle this one. I know. I'm gonna try not to. Flaps 3 coming out. And then stable. Speed check again. We're below that orange tape. That's what I'm calling speed check for, by the way. Below the orange tape. Speed check flaps full. And we'll see them pull out. You can have a look. Oh no, well, they're out all the way now. Winds are doing about 20 knots right now. Pretty much straight down the runway though, which is good. I think go sightseeing. That way is actually. Let's do this. Look at that. That's a cool approach. Martinique traffic Air France 604, short final, runway 10. Got some docks down there by the looks of it. A couple of cargo ships. And everybody's in sight. This terrain, we got a little bit of terrain higher than us out to the sides. And then, a little bit of water up until the runway. Just straight down. 1,000. autopilot disconnect. Master warning lights up for a second. And you can extinguish it. It realizes, oh, you did actually intend to disconnect. Alright, I'm gonna go to sterile cockpit. Enjoy the landing. I'll see you on the other side.
Approaching 1-0.
0 confirmed. Lights up, looks good. Got plenty of runway if we do need to float a little bit.
500.
Dropping a little bit below that triangle. So back up. Land is eliminated.
100 above.
100 above. Continue.
Minimum.
Landing.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 10, 5.
Center line. And gear touch. Maintain that center line. And into reverse. Reverse is green. Roll out. And 70 knots versus disengaged. Auto brakes disengaged. Manual braking.
1,200 meters remaining.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Guadeloupe. Not Guadeloupe, Martinique. Vacate the runway and we'll start to clean up the aircraft and knock the tissues onto the floor. That's exactly what I intended on doing. We'll come to a halt here for a second and we'll do our after landing checks and figure out which gate we're going to. Set the park and brake. Martinique traffic reference 604, clear runway 10. So, if we look at our charts, parking stands, we are on Alpha. We will go to P5. Gate 5. Where is it? There it is. Alright, landing lights off. Strobe lights off. Start to get the APU going. Spoilers, strobe lights, landing lights. And we'll come downstairs and we'll turn the predictor wind shear off. That off. Our transponder off. So we're on the ground now. And APU start. This is the stand of choice for today. Stand 5. APU is spinning up, which is good. Should hopefully just about have it by the time. Which line are we on? Are we on this line? Yeah, we are on this line. Hopefully the jetway reaches. It's always a fear of mine in flights that the jetway doesn't reach. Slope here. There we go. So that APU is on. We'll turn the bleed on. stairs. We'll go ahead and set engine master 2, engine master 1. Should hear him run down. Oh. There we go. Cross check, standby for on call. And we will deplane. Should see the jet bridge swing across. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Martinique. Go ahead and stop the clock. Cargo doors are open. Beacon light is off. Alright. Welcome to Martinique. There we go. While the passengers are deplaning, we'll go ahead and have a look at the land side of this wonderful scenery. This Martinique is brought to us by Tropical Sim, available on Sim Market if you guys do want to pick it up. We'll have a look inside here and see what we can see. Unfortunately, no check-in area like we saw on the last one. However, once we do get landside, you can see that we have got an interior over here with very similar layout to what we saw at Point of Pietra, however you say it. See, I've said it now. And this bit kind of wraps along. Ooh, and then it goes downstairs. You got walking gates over here. Really cool scenery. I am enjoying these Caribbean airports. I will not lie. I think there's a bit of security. If you guys did want to see it, there's a bit of security. So no check-in, but then we do have security. A little cafe area here, and then obviously our gates as well. Now the passengers, yeah, they do actually walk downstairs, because then they go to back claim, which will be through there. But yeah, another really solid scenery from the Caribbean. Bags off. We'll go back inside where it's a little bit quieter. Let's have a look at our Volanta stats. I'm the first person to arrive in Martinique, apparently. No, this isn't the first flight of 2025. That'd be silly. Landing rate 106 feet per minute, 0.96 Gs. Slightly long, but honestly, a really good flare, and pretty good flying down to the ground, if I say so myself. If I'm being honest. Switch over what's being charged. No, it's not going to even charge my phone. There we go. Alright, give me 5 minutes. I'm just going to grab a drink, stand up, and then we'll begin programming the flight down to Caen. So I will be right back. gonna start to program the next flight. It might be a little bit boring for a second, because you guys aren't gonna see the screen. But I should be relatively quick. Where are we? GKXF XS F GKXS. There we go. Cell cal is DGFM. Also, you'd switch off your ILS ILS stuff at this point. Turn the terrain off for now. Cost index is 10. Our passenger count is going to be 142. Take some freight. And let's generate that. Alright. We go back into the ATSU. And the AOC, we're going to do the same programming. Again, so now going from TFFF to SOCA. Estimated time en route of just under 2 hours. Go to our init page, init request. And it will fill in all of this. We are air Falan 604. Need to pre-file this. Cost index of 10. Cruising at 2 what? No, surely not. Is there a step climb? Okay, there is a step climb. Alright. Cruise flight level orange says 350. That is our final cruise. We do have a step though, it'll be 230 initially. And then when we pass the Bridgetown VOR, we'll bump it up to 350. Our wind data, we'll request the winds so that we know what they're doing. Oh, there we go. And our flight plan, if I get up the SIDS and the stars, tell you what that is. We're on the Boris 2 Romeo. Not Romeo 10. Boris 2 Romeo, there it is. And we'll insert that. And then on arrival, we'll do the Ilm 1 Echo, the Ilmer 1 Echo, and then we'll plan ILS Zulu. Oh, wait, what? LS Zulu from America. There we go. Oh, no, oh. No. Remove. Done that wrong. LS Zulu from no, not from Cook-Off. From Final. There we go. There we go. That's better. Alright, so if I go to SOCA, arrival, we're on the ILS Zulu runway 8, on the Ilmer 1 Echo arrival, and no, Final, Novi straight to final. Basically what that means. And I'll show you guys. That's what our route looks like. So the green, is it green? Yes, the green is the SID. Or sorry, no, the star. And then the orange is the ILS. Let's see if it focus. Yeah, there we go. Perfect show and tell by me. Right, wind data uplink, all done, and deplaning should be done as well. So we'll start to get, we'll import the next flight. We'll start to get everybody on. Okay. It's just more. We have departures. Our initial climb clearance is 7,000. We'll set that in. We will change this to Soka. It's about the same distance as Bermuda to New York. Trey's still chugging along in his 7.3. In 3 hours. Oof. Hour and 15. That's how long I would need to sit on the ground. Trey, I don't know if I can wait an hour and 15. I'll be honest. Because like some people in the chat said earlier, I do need to do some revision for some performance. Well, my flight time is about 2 hours, and you've got 3 hours and 15 to go. But we'll see how long it takes these guys to put everything on board. It might end up being close, and I'll probably do a little bit of revision whilst we fly. Those are air friends. Ops, send delay for 6 minutes. No. There's the initial load sheet. You might get there before we move. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What's your cost index? Takeoff weight is that we're well below max. Our landing weight. Okay, you're also. I'm cost index 10, so you're also fast. You also got a higher cost index than I do. Is that trip fuel? Is that trip fuel? Yeah, that looks to be trip fuel. Trip fuel should be 4,813. Landing weight of 62,216. So we're about 2,000 or 2 tons below our landing weight. I know I haven't flown into South America ever. I don't think either. I think I've ever flown. Yeah. Our Mac is, our Mac takeoff weight. Be there. Having core percentage could be 30. Is what we're looking at. Prepared by Judith. Thank you, Judith, for sending us over this preliminary load sheet. Do appreciate it. I will accept it. Everything is within limits. Currently got the fuel going in. has just finished. Passenger boarding. Or sorry, next up would be. Yeah, it doesn't sound like the passenger's actually getting on yet, to be fair. Should reset the BAs as well. Just in case. Yeah, look at that. I mean, slightly intruding on the flight deck, but that's okay. Ow. There you go. There's your operational limits. Max air fuel weight, max landing weight, max takeoff weight. It is live though, so right now our max air fuel weight is 32.6, but that'll shift forward as we well, there you go, boarding's been requested. So as passengers get on, as cargo gets loaded, that'll start to drop off, move forward.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for movement. Departure check completed. Bypass being resulted.
Now we've got the boarding music. Is it not weird seeing Air France in the Caribbean area, or just away from, okay, not an Air France aircraft, just an Air France A320 away from Europe. I'm curious. FG. What's the reg? FGKXS. See, that's in Paris right now. Or well, sorry, it's in Europe, and it probably has been in Paris. It's probably been in Europe since it was born all those years ago. 58 years ago. So I think 15 years. That's young for a 320. Tiredness is setting in. This isn't good. This is not good. Got our wing walkers on standby. I don't think I ever locked the flight deck door in that